Marriage is possible.
God, all things
You
are
gotta believe.
possible.
You gotta believe. Hi, we're Jackie and Bobby Angel with Ascension Presents. Today we're talking about marriage. Don't be afraid of it.
I've gotten people be like, could you do a video about like when you're afraid of marriage or jaded by it or cynical about marriage? And I think this comes from when people they haven't seen a good marriage in their life. Like it's never been witnessed to them, so they don't think it's possible. It's possible, you guys, to have a healthy, holy marriage. And, if there is a fear, in a way that's a good thing because it means you take marriage seriously. That there's something about marriage that it's not just like, oh, it's something you do, you slide into, because a lot of people do that in our culture. It's not that big of a deal, right?
Well, yeah, it's either not big a deal at all, it's just a piece of paper and we can go and do this in Vegas, or there's so much fear because I've never witnessed a good marriage or I've only seen brokenness that I don't go near it at all. We'll just kind of cohabitate, we'll live together and never really make that final commitment because who can live up to that anyway?
Well, and then the other side is some people idolize marriage and they think it's the end all be all of life. And really the end all be all of life is heaven, is to be married to Jesus Christ, the bridegroom, and we, the church, the bride, in heaven. So again, there's these two extremes of idolizing marriage that, oh my gosh, romantic love is the most important thing ever. And then the other side of the coin is that it's just a piece of paper. It means nothing. So if you want to know more about marriage, the Catechism of the Catholic Church, right there, paragraph 1601 is where it starts talking about the sacrament of marriage. And it says, the matrimonial covenant, it's a covenant, by which a man and woman establish between themselves a partnership of the whole of life, is by its nature ordered toward the good of spouses and the procreation and education of offspring, not the band, children. This covenant between baptized persons has been raised by Christ the Lord to the dignity of a sacrament. Now, it does say, what is marriage under the regime of sin? It says in 1606, it says that the union of man and woman has always been threatened by discord, a spirit of domination, infidelity, jealousy, and conflicts that can escalate into hatred and separation. And this is because of sin. But if you go to 1607, it says, 1608, it says, to heal the wounds of sin, man and woman need the help of the grace that God in his infinite mercy never refuses them. So if you are jaded about marriage, you're cynical, you don't think it's possible, there's a few things that we would suggest. So what would be your first suggestion?
Well, wife, first thing I would say is ask yourself, where is that fear coming from? Where is the flippancy coming from towards marriage? What are the marriage role models you've had in your life? Family and friends, people at school, even the media. Very few instances do we see a healthy marriage.
Yeah, TV shows, movies.
It's usually the husband is a buffoon if he's there at all. And there are a few shows that do show couples working through stuff and not just throwing in the towel when difficult moments arise. But those shows are few, and we crave those, and we rightfully see the good in that.
But sometimes people think, oh, that's just a fairy tale. It's like, gosh, it's not a fairy tale to have a good marriage, like even with our own brokenness, our own, I was gonna say malfunction, or
Error.
It's like, it is possible to have a faithful marriage, to have a good marriage.
But the first thing is to see, like, when I think of marriage, what am I picturing? Because what have I seen done before?
Yeah.
And bring that to God and say, God, this is the types of marriages I've seen. Like, help me see, where it went wrong, so I'm not coloring all marriage in this one way.
And I will say, if your parents had a terrible marriage or you never saw a good marriage, you don't have to repeat that, you guys. You don't have to repeat the mistakes of your parents, okay? Because some of you, again, that's where that fear comes from. You're afraid because you've seen cheating, you've seen addiction, you've seen all these things. Like, I don't think that's possible because you've never seen it. So you don't have to repeat that mistake. That's why we are so all about the prep before marriage. Like that, man, in order to have a healthy marriage, you've got to be the person that you're looking for. So if you're looking for a person who is faithful, if you're looking for a person who is trustworthy, kind, selfless, you have to become that kind of person. So bring up the fear. You don't have to repeat the mistakes of the marriages you've seen. and work on yourself, but also start praying for holy couples. I had to do that too. When I had my conversion at 18, I started praying. I was like, God, bring me holy couples into my life to show me what marriage really looks like. And God provided. I'm telling you, I started seeing what it looked like to be a wife, what it looked like to be a mom. And then to look at the husbands, be like, okay, this is possible. Like, look at these men of God who are also different in their personalities, but love their wives, love their children. I was like, okay, it's possible. It's possible. Like, Lord, if you created those men, I know that there's somebody out there for me who is just as crazy as I am, who loves God as much as I do. Like, I know it's possible. If you've created me like this, I know you had to have created somebody else like this, right?
I'd say another thing, you cannot do it on your own.
Yeah.
So, as the Catechism said, we need the grace of God. We can't just, knuckle virtue and being the best person. Sometimes we have to pray. We have to pray
all the time.
But like with each other, by ourselves, for our marriage, and be with other couples, other married couples that are healthy role models that we can laugh with and tell absurd stories about our kids with. And we need God's grace. We need the grace of others' friendships in our lives. Because, that's the other thing. So goes marriage, so goes your neighborhood, so goes the city, so goes the world.
Yeah, we need healthy marriages, healthy families.
Marriages, again, have this ripple effect of within the household and the children and then the whole world. So it is a big deal in that regard. You will never, but you got to go for it, because otherwise it's to live a life in fear and never committing and just always trying to have one foot out the door. Or again, just a flippancy of this relationship is no big deal. It is a big deal. It's an awesome privilege that we get to share in.
Yeah, marriage is awesome, you guys. Don't be afraid of it. You guys, God doesn't want us to be miserable. He wants us to bear the fruits of the Spirit, which are joy, peace, kindness, love, modesty, chastity, self-control, all the fruits. And so you can't bear those fruits if you're completely miserable. Like, our marriage is supposed to be a sign of God's love, and hopefully it bears the fruits of the Spirit and witnesses that God's love is faithful, total, free, and fruitful. So we're going to pray for you, because we know it's so difficult, when you're a single person. That ache is real, that this is a tough time of life, but know that God's love casts out all fear. So if you're afraid of marriage, you're jaded about it, again, just allow God's grace to heal your heart. Run to the sacraments, go to the Eucharist, go to reconciliation, run to Mama Mary, pray the rosary, go to the Word of God. This is Catechism. But go to the Word of God, allow Him to tell you His word, and allow Him to heal you. And if you are dating somebody and you want to know, like, is this a person I'm called to marry? I actually did a video about that. Like, how do you know somebody is the one? I have a blog about that. Like, it's called The Devil Wants You to Settle in Your Relationship. So it's just questions you can ask yourself. Like, is this the person I am supposed to marry?
Plenty more to say, but
time is short.
That's it.
So from all of us at Ascension Presents, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.